Alright, part 2 on how to move a balanced tank without starting all over, especially if you got a lot of fish. There's going to be a part 3, sorry. First things first, I want to tell you that even if you're not shooting a video like this, it's probably a good idea to go ahead and kind of pre-set up your logistical things like I have here. I've got 2 buckets ready to go where the water's going to go in, and I'm using that Python J-hook fill and clean hook part with a garden hose attached to it going right up to my external water pump, which of course comes right on over into the tank here. I'll just pan over so you can see this into the tank. So it's already set and I'm ready to go, but first things first, I'm going to go ahead and get some of this duckweed out. And yeah, that external pump there, you want to get one. Link in the descriptions below. So I'm going to take the duckweed out and make this real fast for you. No sense in making you suffer through it in real time. If you ever have to move a tank, you'll be doing enough of that already on your own. Alright, so once I get the duckweed out, I'm having trouble here. As you can see, these things kind of happen. But you must persevere. So once I get through that, I'm ready to plug in the external pump, and here comes the water. I'm starting to fill all 3 tanks up, and I'm starting to fill all 3 of the buckets up, and one of them I'm going to put the fish in. I think it's going to be that one right there that's filling right now. And so yeah, it's 5-gallon buckets, so I imagine I got about 5 gallons left in the tank. There's 3 buckets on the ground. It's a 20. You do the math, right? I've got some of the fish in a Zis pitcher there. That's actually a brine shrimp hatchery, but it also works as a place to hold fish. What I was finding is when I was scooping the fish, some of them up, or trying to get the duckweed out, I was grabbing fish. So I put the fish in there temporarily. Here we go, just making sure all the fish are in the bucket. And now it's just a matter of draining the rest of the water out and getting the rocks out. So I've got the fish in the white bucket there. I'll put a little light here for you so you can kind of see they're very happy. It's the same water. I did do a water change. Even though it looks dirty, there's just a lot of mulm there, like I was saying. But definitely good enough water. I'm just going to add an air bubbler to this bucket so these guys can breathe, because they're going to be in here for about a day. Maybe longer. We'll see. Okay, so let's get to moving the rocks out. It's pretty simple. I'm just going to use some other little contraption container that I had to move the rocks out. There's the bubbler. Okay. Let's go to the rocks. Let's go to the rocks. Then I decided to take so long. Look at that, the rocks. Okay. So, as you can see, I'm just going to use this little contraption I had. It was a kind of like a Pleco cave that I made. That's another story. So get the rocks out, put them in a bucket, and that way I can go with the plan on, not getting rid of this beneficial bacteria in the substrate and the rocks. I want to go ahead and preserve that as best as I can. And so we just get them out. Now you'll notice that big green algae spot right there. That is not just going to come off with a few pressure strokes of your hand and a bristly type sponge. These, when it gets that bad, you can bet that the microscopic algae are just giving you the middle finger, because they ain't going anywhere. So what I did here is I'm pre-rinsing now the tank, and what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to squirt some white vinegar into the tank. Especially, I'm going to be real generous on that part with the algae, and I'm going to let that sit for a minute. And then what will end up happening is you have to just scrub kind of regularly. It wouldn't come off this easy if you didn't use the vinegar. You can see I'm applying a little bit of pressure, but you can also see that it's coming off for the most part. I won't get all of it off, but I don't really care too much about that. I just want to get the tank cleaned up so I can see the fish, put them in some clear water so I can see the fish, and yet still have all that beneficial bacteria. Because again, it's going to be a lot of fish, and you got to have that ready to go. Otherwise, you're going to suffer losses. So I'm scrubbing the tank here. As you can see, it's not too much work. Just hitting some spots. And that's really it. Hey, listen, I guess I should say like, subscribe, all that good stuff. That's what you're supposed to do in a YouTube video. Hit the like button for me, guys. Share it. The bell's good too. It'll notify you when I put out part 3 and all other new videos. And if you want to comment, by all means, please do. I do respond. So here's kind of my final rinse. And I went ahead and muted the sound. I'm doing a voiceover now because there was a lot of aircraft going by, and my backyard faces a main road. It's just a lot of noise. So I'll spare you guys the noise pollution. So I'm doing a final rinse here, and what I'm going to do is, you'll see here in a second, I'll end up rinsing the rocks. So here I go. So I've got the substrate, the rocks, all that. This is the original tank water, one of the buckets. And so what I'm doing is I'm pushing a lot of mulm that's in the rocks out. Now I realize I'm putting some in too, so the water's not clean, but I'm not killing any beneficial bacteria. So now that that bucket's empty, I'm going to take all this beneficial bacteria and the mulm and all that fish poop. That's great stuff for the bird paradise plant right there. And I'm going to just use the rest of the tank water I have in these buckets here, the red one and a little bit of the blue one as well. And just keep pushing mulm through and saving the beneficial bacteria. So I've got 2 buckets here. This is just tap water. I'm going to dechlorinate it with Prime, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to put some biological booster in it as well. I'm going to stir it up because I do want to put clean water over the rocks, but I don't want it to be chlorinated and all that good stuff, and I don't want to kill the bacteria that I'm trying to put back into the tank. So with the biological booster as a backup and the dechlorinated tap water, after about 5 or 10 minutes, I go ahead and I start putting the substrate through a final rinse. And again, you're probably all not going to be going through all this unless you got a fish room, you're breaking things down like I am, or you've just had a tank for a long time and you're thinking, how am I going to do this? If you're trying to move the tank and you don't want to risk losing any of your fish. If you're a fish nerd, you're probably going to be going through something like this, and it's going to be a planned out, strategic, and organized, well thought out plan, and this is mine, so I'm sharing it with you. This is one way to do it. So here's the tank. I finished it up. You can see there's a little bit of specks of algae on some of the glass there. Again, it's not a big deal. I can still see all the way through the tank now, and I don't have that big old green patch in the front. So with that, I'm just going to basically, at this point, my thinking process is, now that I've got it all cleaned out, why not put a different background on it? So that's what I do here. Put a little blue poster board in the back, tape it up, and they're going to have a nice blue background. So that's it for now, guys. Stay tuned for part 3. It'll be the last part of it. Again, like and subscribe, comment, and we'll see you at part 3, and you'll see me introduce the fish into the tank and add the substrate, all that good stuff. You guys be good, take care. We'll see you in the next one. 210 Aquatics. Like and subscribe.